Alright, we're back with the lower control arm replacement. This is the driver's side, and for this side I will be very brief and I will show you the other method that you can use to replace this control arm. The way I'm gonna show it is gonna allow for one person by itself to be able to do it. So let's get going. I'm not gonna show too much, but I'll let you know what I'm doing so that you get the idea. For this, you will want to remove this right here to be able to get your CV joint nut off of this, because you're gonna be removing the CV joint, and you will not be removing this, so this don't worry about. This is the one you will take out all together with the wheel knuckle to be able to get the lower control arm out. Also, you will need to remove these two bolts for the strut, and the same with this sway bar link. You will detach it from this side. I'll show you when I'm done with it. So I removed the little wire that I had put here to secure this nut with this. So with that out of the way, if you don't have a tool like this, again, this is a 1/2-inch impact gun, and this could take this nut out really easy. But I want to show you, if you don't have the impact gun, you can use a breaker bar with the 32. For me, it's a 32, and because this rotor is gonna start spinning and it's not gonna allow you to get it out, you want to put like a simple thing like a screwdriver in here. That way, when you start turning and putting pressure into it, this is gonna hold the rotor from rotating, allowing you to put enough pressure to get the nut out of here. Okay, once you have loosened this bolt, the nut is out already. I'll loosen this also, and you have loosened this. This is out also, and this one took it out already. Is the caster nut. After you have done all that, then the next step is gonna be to loosen the two bolts for the strut. Now these two bolts have been removed, and it's still being held by the CV joint bolt. And yeah, it's letting loose now. I'll support it. I'll show you next. This is how it's looking right now. CV joint is out, and the ball joint at the bottom almost out, but I think I'll need to use a prying bar to completely get it out. After I get it out, I'll have it supported on this bucket and grabbed on by the other tie rod. As you can see, I'll do that, and then I'll show you next. As you can see, guys, my technique is pretty good. It's holding right there. This is a one-man working. Knuckle is out of the ball joint. Now I need to get these two bolts, this and this, completely out so that I can pull the lower control arm out. Because if you can see right now, it's already loose, so that it can come out. Okay, back again. As you can see, the bolts at the bottom came out already. I have the wheel knuckle hanging in this pocket, and also holded by the other tie rod. The lower control arm is now free to come out. The CV joint, I wanted to hang it on something, but I won't bother it. It's just staying there. So now I'll pull the lower control arm with one hand, and as you can see, I got it out. One man working. Now get your new lower controller, and what you're gonna do next, as I'll explain. Ben, Ben. So now get your new controller. And what we need to do now, compare it to the old one. Make sure it's the same size. Make sure it's the left one, just like this. Everything looks okay. Make sure you take this out before you install it. It's plastic. Okay, so I moved the bucket just a little bit out of the way to be able to put the control arm, lower control arm in place. I hammered this side with a little rubber mallet, and this side looks like it's already ready to get the bolts. So I'll put the bolt here and here to start with, and last we're gonna do the ball joint that goes into the knuckle. Okay, back to updating. So as you can see right here, control arm is already going in, but I got the one bolt that has the nut that is welded with some pieces of metal. You can still get this nut out if you put your finger and pull it out. There's a space for it to come out, but really you want to leave it in place so that when you put your bolt, it's gonna align perfectly to go back in. So as I was explaining, the other side, I still have it out, but since I got lucky and I got this one started, I'll tighten this just a little bit, and then I'll deal with that one next. Okay, so as we are learning here, this is my setup. I have the jack grabbing just a little bit of the controller, and as you can see, I'm straightening it and it is moving a little bit, so I need to align it and then get my bolt in all the way. Okay, so as you can see, the bolt is already in. I have the nut ready. This is how I got it in. I put the screwdriver inside the hole and wiggle it to align it, and I also had to push with my hand on this side to make this move just a little bit in so that the bolt could align and go in. So right now it went in already. I'll put this the nut on top of it. Oh, I dropped it. Okay, I hope you can see. I'm doing it by hand, and since the bolt is straight now, that's the reason why it's going so easy with my hand. So when it gets hard like that, you can still leave your setup with your jack or whatever you use to lift it up just a little bit. You can leave it on as you tighten the bolts. So now use your 21 millimeter wrench and ratchet with the 21 socket. Hold it from the top with the wrench and start tightening. Now for this side, if you are not sure if this is grabbing onto the bolt, you can put your thumb from the top like this in the middle of the nut and start turning your bolt. You're gonna feel when it grabs. Then that way when you start tightening, you know it's grabbing on. Next, what I will need to do is to get this CV joint just out of the way enough. You can tie it with something and pull it this way like that. That would be excellent. I'll just leave it hanging like that. And what I need is to seat the wheel knuckle for this hole right here to go in to this piece. So that's the idea right now. After I do that, I will have to put the CV joint back into the knuckle into its place. But right now I need this to go first, and also the jack will come out right now because I will need to press the lower control arm down, and the jack right now is not gonna let me because it has too much pressure. So I'll take the jack out now. Okay, update. I have moved the knuckle now, and as you can see, the pin is already in. Whenever you cannot get this pin so easy in, you can place a flat screwdriver on this gap right here and push either left or right to make it open up the gap just a little bit so that your pin can go in. And right now, as you can see, I have the CV joint and I need to place it inside the knuckle as I'm showing. Now, as you can see, my CV joint is back in. I place this knuckle in the strut for the bolts to go in again. And right now, I'm gonna secure the CV joint with this so that it don't come out no more. And we're getting closer to finishing. I'll show the next steps. Okay. Oh. Now, as you can see, I got lucky, and the little thing sticking out of this space is not there. It's not gonna be in the way, so it's like I'm gonna get my custom nut and bolt in easy. That's the way it looking. I hope it does go in, and it did. See? Okay. Quick word of advice now. Whenever you're putting your bolt and castle nut in here and putting this pin in, after you put the pin in, if the bolt and castle nut do not want to go in, the bolt especially, what you need to do is you need to put a prying bar or a pretty big screwdriver like I'm using, and push the wheel knuckle just a little bit off of the lower control arm from the ball joint. That's how it's gonna make the space here for the little piece that holds the bolt tight to be out of the way. And that way you can go in. For that, you also need this to be disconnected, because you will need to wiggle up and down to get this to get into place. So now I'll put the bolts in and I'll show you what's next. Okay, very quick, we're running out of sunlight. This is the screw that you're gonna use on this side now to tighten your CV joint nut. And you wanna put your brake line back and your link back, and don't forget to tighten your custom nut down there. Okay, before you tighten your custom nut and bolt at the bottom, you wanna put some pressure with a jack on the control arm, just so that it presses firmly into the wheel knuckle. You don't wanna go too crazy in it. It's just like that. Some pressure just to make sure it's well seated when you tighten. So that's that. Another quick tip that I have for you, before you start removing this CV joint, big nut, you may want to mark it like I did, so that when you put it back and tighten it back, you can put it back to the same place where it was. You don't have to deal so much with finding out what's the torque. You can do that with any bolts and nuts, by the way. Okay, now that I have put everything back in place, I have the ABS sensor back into place too, the link. Tighten this, the castle nut at the bottom, and this is tightened already. So all I need now is to put my cover back with the rivets, and last but not least, I will tighten these bolts for the strut, and that is gonna be the last thing I'll do. Okay, so right now everything is in place. That's how you replace the lower control arm on a Nissan Altima 2007 3.5 SE. Please like, comment, and subscribe if this video helped you. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, so control arm is done, and now you need to get the car down to the ground, and don't forget these wheel nuts. You tighten off right now that the wheel is off the ground, and you give it the torque it needs once the car is sitting on the floor. That's how you do it. It's gonna be like 95 to 100 foot-pounds. Alright guys, thank you so much.